Most people spend their careers chasing the right things. They just don't realize those things aren't enough. You work hard. You take on more responsibility. You measure progress by titles, numbers, outcomes. And for a long time, that works. It's how you build a career. But at some point, if you stay in it long enough, something starts to shift. Not all at once, not dramatically. Just enough to make you pause and start asking a different question. Not, how am I doing, but what actually matters. Early in your career, the definition is pretty clear. Winning looks like progress. It looks like recognition. It looks like being trusted with bigger things, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you need that. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. But over time, you start to realize something. Those things don't carry the weight you thought they would. You hit the milestone. You get the role. You close the deal. I had a moment like that during the Deepwater Horizon aftermath. I was in the middle of designing the system that would verify environmental compliance for offshore oil production. The results were going to the U.S. government. The stakes were real. My team landed several major oil companies. Some of them were part of the reason the standard existed in the first place. It was one of the highlights of my career. I was speaking at conferences. The Houston Chronicle came out to interview me. I had become the subject matter expert. I spent years on it, chased it hard, and then it was over. And it was on to the next thing. It mattered, but it didn't stay with me the way I thought it would. What stays with you tends to be something else. It's the conversations you remember, the people you spend time with, the moments you didn't plan but somehow mattered more. Those didn't show up on a scorecard. You can't measure them, but they last. And here's the part most people don't talk about. You don't usually recognize this early enough. You figure it out after you've already spent years focused on the other things. Again, not wrong things, just not complete. At some point, your definition of a good day changes. Sometimes it looks a lot less like a result and a lot more like a truck ride, a stop at Weigel's, and letting the day unfold. If you're leading a team, this matters even more. Because people watch what you prioritize, not what you say. If everything is about results, they believe that's all that matters. If you make space for people, for conversations, for time that isn't purely transactional, they'll see that too. And over time, that becomes your culture. You don't have to wait years to figure this out. You don't have to step away from ambition or performance. But you do have to decide what actually matters. Because if you don't define it early, something else will define it for you. We'll be back next week to continue this journey, one conversation at a time. That's the Chaudron Effect. Experience, perspective, leadership.